when you talk about the relational databases, let us understand fundamentals of the relational databases. From where the term relational database came, that has been proposed by E.F. Codd in 1970. He has proposed one paper. If you click on this link, here you can see that paper as well. The original paper he has presented. We'll talk about we will talk little bit about this paper only in this chapter. So when you say a relational model, what do you mean by relational model? It is the database management system that organizes and stores the data in the tabular form. Organizes and stores the data in the tabular form, and there is a relationship between the tables. Tabular form, there is a relationship between the table, and this is called as relational model. Data is stored in the tabular form, and amongst the table there is some relationship. In the relational database, data is organized into the table known as the relations. Each table consists of rows and columns. Rows are also called as tuples or records, and columns are also called as attributes or fields. Each column represents the specific data attribute, while row contains the actual data. Employee name, employee ID, employee salary. These are the columns, attributes. And inside the rows, you will find actual data. This is what the relational model is. And there is an employee table, there is a department table. And to the employee and the department table, there might be some relation. So we have one table, employee table, which would be having 3 columns. Then we would be having a department table, and department table would be having 4 columns. And the employee table can refer to the department table. Employee table can refer to the department table. This is the relationship, and that's why it is called as relational. Well, tables are also called as relations. Rows are called as tuples or records. Columns are called as attributes or the fields. Rows would be having your actual attributes: employee ID, employee name, employee salary, department ID, staff number, then total budget allocated to the department, and this column you can say some description about the employment department. You have 2 tables. Now, the relational database enforces certain rules called as constraints, integrity constraints, which means that employee ID should be numbers only. Employee salary should be decimal numbers only. All these things are called as constraints, integrity constraints, to maintain the accuracy and the consistency of the data. The primary integrity constraint is a primary key, which means that each row in the table is identified by unique number. Each row in the table is identified by unique number. So this column would be consisting of unique data. And this thing is called as primary key. What is a primary key? In every table, one or more column can identify the rows uniquely. Such column is called as primary key. Well, there are some columns which points to the another table. So here you are pointing to the table. Here you are pointing to this table. So row number 1 over here, and here also one number. So this row is pointing, so this record is pointing to this record or this row of this table. This thing is called as foreign key. We are going to see in detail. Don't worry. We are going to see this thing in detail. Absolutely don't worry. I'm just giving you an overview. The main advantage of the relational database. So whatever I have talked, everything we are going to see in practical manner. I'm going to type the code in front of you. Data integrity. Now see, main advantages of the database include data integrity, data consistency, data retrieval, scalability, and the security. Integrity means what? Accurate data you would be getting. So no two columns. So here you have written employee ID, and here you have written employee ID, and here you are entering employee name. This will not happen. That's the integrity. Consistency. You can say if one thing is getting updated, that would be updating all other required things, or effect would be depicted on all other required things. That is the consistency. Data retrieval. You can retrieve the data. You can fetch the data easily from the database by means of the SQL. We are going to see this in detail. Don't worry. Scalability. You can store millions of the records. Now consider that this is the employee table. You can store the information of 1 million employees inside this table. That's what the scalability. Data security. Now all the data, password and other things can be encrypted. We can store these things in the encrypted form. See, all the relational databases are presented by E.F. Codd in his paper, right? All that concepts are implemented by few famous databases in the market. MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server, PostgreSQL, SQLite. MySQL, there are a lot of others also, but these are some famous servers, famous relational servers available in the market. So what we have seen over here, few fundamental concepts, not concepts, just overview of relational DB. I hope you have understood this thing. Remember that we have a separate session on each topic. Whatever I talked, we have a separate session on each topic. So don't worry, this is just theory. You may revise as much as times. Thank you. If you get any query, please write it in the comment box.